This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and most of the homies.
Half the homies.
Wah, wah, wah.
Not everybody's here.
Alex is drinking his loss away. The View got beat, and he's drinking it away.
Like all good W fans. If you ain't winning, you're drinking.
You're drinking.
And if you're winning, you're burning couches.
Win or lose, we still booze.
That's it. Just like Johnny Manziel. Today is Monday, September 4th. It is Labor Day. So we're coming at you from Sunday night recording. And college football has made its triumphant return in every way possible with week one. Almost in the bag.
Man, I was college football to the max yesterday. To the max.
Even when you were, doing family things.
Yeah, roasted marshmallows and had a little campfire and still had the clear view of the TV.
That is it. We are now 3 days away from the NFL football returning as well, with the Thursday night matchup between the Bills and the Jets, correct?
Incorrect.
Yeah. Incorrect.
The Chiefs host the Lions.
The Chiefs host
okay.
the Lions. Might be.
I already got
Bills
one fantasy
Jets
team
Monday.
drafted. What'd you say, Nate?
Bills Jets is Monday night.
Yeah.
Wrong primetime matchup I had.
One fantasy league drafted, two more to go. Yeah, two more to go. I don't know what I'm doing. This is ridiculous.
You got 2 down with 3 more to go. Sounds right. So the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff fantasy football draft will be today on Monday. Monday night. All the keepers are set. The draft order is in. It's just time to get together and make it happen.
Yes, sir.
On this week, we finish our coverage of the NFL with the AFC North and any other news in the NFL happening prior to week one. So that'll be interesting, the AFC North. We'll see where everything pans out. Alex has already stated the Steelers are going all the way with no other context.
And that's the result of alcohol, folks.
Well, I mean, just look at his picture he sent us to use.
That's it.
All
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see how we've brought Alex into the fold for this week's episode. He'll be there all episode.
Good times.
Good times. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and unfortunately, we have to say rest in peace to Jimmy Buffett.
I thought it was wild. Like Jimmy Buffett, I'm a fan of Jimmy Buffett, the restaurants, his music is great. But the friends that are our age, or even Nate's age, that come out of the woodwork, and they are legitimate Buffett heads. Like there is sadness for the young folks about Jimmy Buffett. Like I never thought that would happen.
Is there sadness in the Harper household?
No, I mean, I don't think we celebrate that it's 5 o'clock somewhere. That might be reserved for tomorrow.
There we go.
Fair enough.
There we go. As always, I'm Muff, person steering this rudderless ship, joined alongside the Ohio Homer, the Ohio Degenerate, the captain of the Midwest Crack House, Jim.
Hello.
Also, the guru of officiating is with us tonight, the man with the plan, the man behind the defensive side of the ball, and the man who's been running sprints all offseason to get ready, Nate.
No, Nate made up for sprints this weekend with game Friday, game Saturday, and 2 Pee-wees on Sunday.
And dogs barking. You get some tired feet.
I woke up with cramps at 1:30 on Sunday or Saturday morning. So yeah,
He's the official you need, ladies and gentlemen. Always on it, willing to sacrifice his body to make the call.
That's it. Also in the Harper household, somewhere in the background, doing something, somewhere, the guru of glitter, Sam.
I'm here.
I'm here. Hi, Sam. Missed you. Hope you missed me.
Kind of.
All right.
Probably not. Probably not so
Probably
much
not.
this past
She's
week.
probably still mad.
Just a little salty.
It's okay. It's okay.
As always, you can follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsfw/Jim, Sam Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Remember, not only our Monday episodes, but we also have the Thursday betting episodes weekly now.
Getting some traction, I would think. At least people are talking about them to me on my side of the world.
Nice. We have one matchup left to round out the best bets for the crew this week, and that is the LSU Florida State game, which is tied at 7 on Sunday night as we're recording with about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Jim needs that.
I do need that.
I don't
for
think
both of my
Alex.
betting operations.
I don't think Alex needs it though, right?
No.
At least not tracked for us.
Right.
Yeah. So with all that, we're going to get into the NFL this week. Before we get into the AFC North, chat about some other NFL happenings. Not all of them. There's been a lot that's been going on, but we'll start out with a tidbit I saw somewhere on Instagram. I forget what. I'm guessing it was the NFL and or a Madden account. Madden did a simulation of the season, and here's who they had as the division winners: Bills, Ravens, Jaguars, Chiefs, Cowboys, Packers, Falcons, and 49ers.
I can see those 4 AFC teams winning. I do not see those 4 NFC teams winning.
Right, the Niners. Niners is reasonable, I think, to consider.
Correct. But the other 3,
I agree. And they also did the simulation through the Super Bowl with the Ravens winning the Super Bowl 24-21 over the Cowboys.
Well, Madden is
yeah, I don't think either one of those 2 teams make it.
no.
Madden's catering to the who's going to engage with our social media.
Yeah,
Mhm.
probably.
Definitely with the Cowboys. The Ravens, not so sure, but the Cowboys is definitely a catered pick. So, in other news in the NFL, Chris Jones of the Chiefs was put on the physically unable to perform list, which means he will miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season as he continues to try to tangle and get a new contract, an extension on his contract to make him one of the top paid defensive players, I think, overall in the league.
Now, I saw earlier he liked a tweet that's something, or is that still a tweet on X?
I think it's a post. I think it's what they call them now.
We're gonna call them tweets. We're gonna
Okay,
stay on the porch.
So
Nate.
anyway, there was one that said, "Oh, they should trade him to Dallas for this guy whose name I have no idea how to pronounce or whatever." And apparently, he liked it.
Was it Trey Lance?
No.
Travis Kelce was begging him to come back on the podcast.
Yeah, I listened to a few different podcasts this week, and there's some discussion. They had some old GMs as well as some other people in the know in the professional football world, and saying that this is somewhat an area where they don't think the Chiefs are going to cave, because the Chiefs also have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, who are underpaid as far as annual contract value.
Yeah,
At their respective positions. I think Patrick Mahomes isn't even really in the top 5 anymore. Annual value. Now he has the largest overall contract, I believe, but annual value. And Travis Kelce, he's not even a top paid tight end, I don't think, and he's pretty much a top 5 to 10 wide receiver in the league, all said and done.
yeah, I agree.
So I don't think the Chiefs are going to give in really easy on that one, making him, paid like Aaron Donald. Maybe what Bosa is going to get. That's not going to happen.
No.
So-
No, he's just not going to get that money there because, like we said, their cap is a little tight there. So, But these guys don't think about that. It's all me, me, me. Give me the money.
Yep. Which, I mean, he deserves to be paid probably more than he is now, but that team
Right.
is not the fit for him to get paid.
Correct.
Other news, trying to figure out where Jonathan Taylor's going to go. He was also put on the PUP list. And it was reported this week that the Colts asked for Jalen Waddle, who was ultimately a second-round pick on draft day and a number 2 wide receiver, and it was rejected. Do we think that would have been a fair trade?
If I were Miami, I would have laughed too. I mean, he's a guy coming in. It was his second year last year, coming off obviously his better of the 2 years. I mean, I wouldn't trade a receiver, especially in a passing league like this.
Yeah, not just that, but a young receiver who has
Right.
a lot of
And
promise.
they're true number
Right?
2 receiver. It's like, if hypothetically, say they made that trade, who's their next go-to receiver outside of Tyreek Hill?
Right. I don't know who that is.
They don't
Because
have
Mike Gesicki's not there anymore, a tight
Mhm.
end.
Right.
Eric Azukamana.
Exactly.
Like
Are you doing a
they have,
hawk dance or something? Is that what you're doing?
I guess they have nobody.
Yeah. So I mean, the Colts, right? It doesn't hurt to ask for the Colts, but I mean, if they're really wanting to ship him to Miami, that's at least a starting spot of this isn't going to happen, and to see if they counter and maybe they get something that's reasonable. I mean, I think the Colts have said they want a first round draft pick, and I think that's going to be a tough sell for running back coming off an off season, and I think he had an injury the season before.
Right, and the Niners didn't even get a first round, or sorry, the Panthers. I don't think they got a first rounder for McCaffrey, did they? They got a couple twos, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the rock and hard place now for the Colts and Jonathan Taylor. I think if Jonathan Taylor wants to go the Le'Veon Bell route, he's more than welcome to. But I don't think that's the best move for his career.
No, not this year.
No.
So we'll see where all that goes. I think week 2 or 3, if a running back goes down, number one running back, that will be an opportunity. But if we don't see any high profile running backs bite the dust, I think he's going to have to wait this one out. Yeah. Speaking of waiting things out, the Cardinals aren't naming their week 1 starter for a quote unquote competitive advantage.
Starter at which position?
Quarterback.
Is that really up for debate?
Well, it's either Josh Dobbs or Clayton Tune.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So like that's a competitive advantage?
Right. I mean, if you had 2 valued quarterbacks, they got rid of Colt McCoy, who again, not really a competitive advantage if he's in the picture either. It just seems like
They got Jeff Driscoll.
But again, there's no competitive advantage.
That's just silly.
Yeah, they signed Josh Dobbs because I believe there is a relationship with the current offensive coordinator and Josh Dobbs from a previous location. So I think they're just bringing somebody in that's comfortable with the OC, and that's probably who's going to get the nod to start. But I don't see any value in this strategy in Arizona.
I think that just means they can't figure out their shit.
Well, we already knew that was the case, but it's already been a conversation at this point. Doing little things like this continue to add into that conversation is that the Cardinals may already be tanking this year. We're tanking because we want the number 1 pick because we want one of these quarterbacks that are coming out to potentially replace Kyler Murray.
Who are they looking to get?
Everybody's saying they want Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, I don't want to jump into college football. We have a lot before we get there, but is Caleb Williams the guy to tank a team for?
If they think he's the guy that they want to make sure they get him, then
no, I'm asking you, the homies. Do you tank a team for Caleb Williams?
I don't think he's one of those guys that is like one of those generational type talents like a Dion was, or a Herschel Walker, Bo Jackson, one of those kind of guys. I mean, I don't think he's going to come in there and all of a sudden they're a playoff contender by any means of the imagination.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth tanking for him, but they're going to be tanking, and that's who they're ultimately going to get. And do I think that's the right move? No. But if they're ready to offload Kyler Murray that badly, they've got to have something as far as some insurance of getting a guy, at least somebody they think is a guy.
That was not it for me. I think Caleb Williams is a fantastic quarterback. I think that he will definitely contend for a second Heisman, but I don't know that I would sell the ship for him.
Yeah. Don't disagree. The Vikings extended TJ Hawkinson to make him one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. That's noteworthy to some degree.
I think it's good for the Vikings, like to solidify that.
Right. It's a good move, especially I think he did well last year, right? He came over from Detroit, had a good season last year. So I think they hope they're going to continue with that. And it helps Justin Jefferson as well, knowing they have somebody who can catch the ball with some certainty in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
The Patriots have assigned all of their training camp QBs aside Mac Jones to the practice squad, and then later on signed Matt Corral to come in on the team. Is this a Bill Belichick like chess over checkers move, or is this
Being a wizard, huh?
I don't
Yeah, I saw
know.
when they did that. They said, but basically he only did that so they could get another roster spot for a different position group or something. Because essentially before they signed Corral, one of those practice squad guys was going to get dressed on game day.
Mhm.
They got Zappy, Malik Cunningham out of Louisville, Matt Corral, and Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would say it's chess. I would say he's trying to get another roster spot, like Nate said.
It's just an interesting spot to do it with the quarterback. Usually don't see it with a quarterback spot, right? Or
Yeah,
at
and
least
I'm
all of them,
surprised
but the starter.
And I'm surprised when they put Bailey Zappi on waivers, he cleared. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, he was rookie last year, but I mean, he did play a little bit, and the little bit he did play, he looked good.
He did look good. Yep, I agree.
So I think it's a chess move. I think Bill knew that nobody was going to get picked up, and he was like, this is what we're going to do. I don't know who they brought on in that spot, right? I don't know what position. I don't know enough about the Patriots up and down their roster to be like, oh yeah, this is what they did because they needed this depth at this position, and this makes sense. I just trust Bill at this point.
I think that this is probably the last year I'd put all of my faith in Bill. Like, I think he is a GOAT or was a GOAT, and then I think it's starting to tilt if they have another season like they did.
I mean, this is right. They're ruining the day or the years that they had Tom Brady and they kicked the can down the road. I mean, this is still, I think, the aftermath of that.
Yeah, but the Patriots organization's done that notoriously. Like, they always had a plan, and now it seems like a rudderless ship.
Well, I think the plan is what is kicking them in the butt at the moment. The plan was to ride that franchise under Tom Brady as long as they could and do everything they could to make each year competitive. And now they don't have what they
I
had.
agree with you. I guess what I'm saying is, like, they had Bledsoe and they had Tom in the chamber, right?
Well,
Like, they always had a succession plan. At least from what I remember of the Patriots as a little kid, there was always some succession plan. And then at
that
some point
succession
that got
plan was,
twisted.
well, the succession plan from Bledsoe to Tom was not, it did not go as they wanted it to.
But it was still there.
Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah, but it was still there.
And they got lucky that Tom was Tom.
Oh, they didn't get lucky. Tom.
Well, and I think too at this point in time, they probably think, okay, this is year 4 post Brady, so they probably thought, okay, once he's gone for a couple of years, now we're going to get back to where we were, and I've really gone downhill for them ever since he's gone away. So
they have no weapons on that. I mean, we did the breakdown. They have no real weapons on that team.
no, and it's not one of those destinations like it was when he was there that you want to go to win a Super Bowl. If you go there now, it's like you just want to play for Bill. I mean, they're not even
going to. Who says, I want to play for Bill?
And yeah, I want to go play in New England where it's freezing cold in November, December, January. Right. Or let's go to Miami where it's warm all year and there's no state income tax.
Exactly.
Bingo. So, any other NFL news of note?
Not that I can see.
Okay. Which brings us into the last breakdown of the NFL as we get into week 1, starting on Thursday, and that is breaking down the AFC North. Last year, the AFC North saw the Bengals take the division crown at 12-5, followed by the Ravens at 10-7, then the Steelers at 9-8, and in last place, where they belong, the Browns at 7-10.
You know, I thought we'd get through this without the bullshit where they belong stuff. Like, come on, let's be peaceful with this one.
No. Just as you expected Alex to say the Steelers are going to win the division, you should expect me to just crap on the Browns.
All right.
Should be expected at this point. Starting with the last place team, the Browns. Key additions, they brought in Marquise Goodwin at wide receiver, Shelby Harris on the defensive side of the ball, along with Ogbonia Okoronkwo. No idea if I said that right. And then Zadarius Smith as well on the defensive side. So a lot of defensive players to add to what they had before. They lost Jacoby Brissett at quarterback because we all know Deshaun Watson is the guy there in perpetuity. They lost Jadeveon Clowney at D end and Greedy Williams in the defensive backfield. In the draft, they brought in Cedric Tillman, wide receiver from Tennessee, DeJuan Jones, offensive tackle, Ohio State, DTR, also known as Dorian Thompson-Robinson, QB of UCLA, who had some good preseason games. Other plays on this team include running back Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, aforementioned at quarterback, Amari Cooper, wide receiver, Myles Garrett on the defensive side of the ball, and Denzel Ward in the defensive backfield. How are we feeling about the Browns?
Mediocre at best.
If you shut down Chubb, then you win.
That is very
I
true.
mean, you still have Amari Cooper there and whatever, but I mean, I feel like you need that number 2 or number 3 weapon, and I don't see that in their passing game.
And they keep trying to put in, like, they keep trying to get people to be the number 2 with Peoples-Jones and Marcus Goodwin. And, you know, they keep trying to throw names in there, but they never get the ball to the guy. The passing game just can't get itself established.
And that's another one, like I said, with New England. It's not a place where I think free agents are like, "Oh, let's go play at Cleveland."
Man, I tell you what, I would go to New England before Cleveland.
I would too.
And I live in the state.
Thank you, Jim. You just made that a whole lot easier for me.
I'm just being honest. I went up to Cleveland in a February day to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for my birthday, and it was the coldest place on earth I've ever been. That shit off the lake, the winter snow for us here in mid-Ohio is like the frozen tundra up there. No.
No, he says. No. Moving on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who brought in Allen Robinson at wide receiver, guard Isaac Seumalo, Patrick Peterson in the defensive backfield, and Cole Holcomb at linebacker to offset losses of Cam Sutton at quarterback, Bob Spillane at linebacker, along with Devin Bush and Miles Jack on the defensive side of the ball. In the draft, they bring in Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State, defensive back, along with Broderick Jones, tackle from Georgia, to accompany his former teammate, Darnell Washington, tight end, also from Georgia. Other players on the team include Kenny Pickett at quarterback, Najee Harris at running back, George Pickens at wide receiver, Cam Hayward at defensive side, Minka Fitzpatrick as well in the defensive backfield, and TJ turned down for Watt.
I got a couple questions. One, how long is Cam Hayward going to go?
I think at this point he's pretty much year to year.
Right. So there's got to be fear in your guys' hearts there.
No.
2,
there's no fear.
what are you going to do? How are you going to replace him, Muff?
Well, Jim, here's one thing about Steelers. They've always been able to develop defensive tackles very well.
Freaking yins are talking. Freaking yin. Well, so you can't develop quarterbacks or receivers? Just defensive tackles?
What? What about the receivers that have come in and out of Pittsburgh in the past 10 years makes you think they can't develop receivers?
They typically go batshit crazy on TikTok and have to leave.
One guy.
That was one.
And then we have a guy that has severe CTE.
Right.
Can't
He
say
also
anything about
was a
that.
little crazy on the social media too.
Right.
I'll take that back about the TikTok. There's 2 of them. There's one that likes to
Well.
dance, one that thinks he knows what he's doing and he's cool, but he's not.
Right. They get rid of him, Jim. That's what happens. They're
Right.
gone.
There's no discipline.
No, the discipline is you're gone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because we can build a team around people that we don't have.
Well, George Pickens is a good start, Jim.
All right.
We also have Pat Fryermuth at tight end. Not in there, but good enough. And quarterbacks. So what are you talking about? Can't develop quarterbacks. It's year 2 from a team that had a winning record.
We'll see.
Yeah, this is a very young team on the offensive side of the ball that I think everybody's looking for them to take the jump in year 2.
Yeah.
With Kenny Pickett under center.
TBD, Jim. TBD.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really good in the preseason.
I think the defense of the Steelers is what you really are the best known for, and that I can't take away from you.
Oh, that's how it's been for years.
But like,
That's the blueprint, Jim.
I think a loss to Cam Hayward would be not good. Mid-season,
It's not going
lose
to tank
Cam
the team.
Hayward.
It's not going to tank the team.
Did I say I was going to tank the team, or did I say it's not good?
I think there's an implication there.
Okay, Muff.
Moving on to Baltimore Ravens, who brought in Odell Beckham Jr., Rock Yassin, Nelson Aguilar, and Jadeveon Clowney, and division pickup for the Ravens to offset losses of Calais Campbell, Guard, Penn Powers, Chuck Clark in the defensive backfield, Marcus Peters, and Justin Houston on the defensive line. In the draft, they brought in Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College, Trenton Simpson, linebacker from Clemson, and edge rusher Tavius Robinson from Ole Miss. Obviously, we know other players noted on this team include Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith on the defensive side, joined by Patrick Queen and Marlon Humphrey. Big news, right? Lamar Jackson signing his deal. That was the big news for the Ravens in the
That feels
offseason.
so old. Like that feels many moons ago at this point.
It
Mhm.
was. It was. But that was really the biggest
Yeah.
news for them in the offseason. I mean, they brought in Odell Beckham, but he's assumed to be their number one receiver.
Yeah.
They're hoping that he's going to be there to bring some leadership and stability to the locker room in that position. And I think they're really looking to see him help Zay Flowers move along quickly. Zay Flowers, speedy receiver from Boston College. I think they want him to develop quicker than he probably will, but I don't think it's going to be a bad first year for him.
No, everything I've seen on him so far, he's looked really good.
But again, I think for now, he's more of a one-trick pony. I think he's got the deep ball, and I think he just needs to develop his game. So we'll just see where that goes.
I think for me and the Ravens, it comes down to the running game. Like, is Lamar going to not take those responsibilities all himself after having to sit out a whole year? Like, will he have plays and designs that use the running backs? Because they have good running backs.
If they can stay healthy, which has always been part of the issue.
They all should be good now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, the durability in that running back room is going to be determined because they're one of those teams, like Jim said, their running game is what they're primarily known for. So can Dobbins stay healthy coming off that injury? You got him,
Gus
got
Johnson,
Gus Edwards,
Melvin Gordon.
and then that fullback who seems like he's been there for 3 decades.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want them to, elevate the running game.
TBD. That is, it's the path to their success.
Yeah.
Right. Lamar Jackson was not signed to that big deal because he's going to throw the ball around the yard.
And then I think a receiver that I'm gonna stay a little quiet on. Okay, I'm gonna be a little quiet on it, but I think Rashad Bateman might have a good year. It might actually show out as the number one by the end of the year.
They could use him.
Yeah. Big fan of Rashad Bateman.
Big fan.
Big fan.
And lastly, last year's division winner, the Cincinnati Bengals, who brought in Orlando Brown Jr. on the offensive line, along with Cody Ford and Irv Smith at tight end, and Tarbell Basham on the defensive line to offset losses of Jesse Bates III in the defensive backfield, along with Von Bell, Hayden Hurst at tight end, and Samaje Perine at running back. In the draft, they picked up D-end Miles Murphy from Clemson, cornerback DJ Turner II from Michigan, and Jordan Battle, safety from Alabama. Other players of note include Joe Burrow, running back Joe Mixon, wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Logan Wilson at linebacker, and the man, Evan McPherson.
Yes. Very much so, the man.
Hopefully.
I think it's a solid team on paper. I don't see any issues.
Yeah, I think getting Orlando Brown and Cody Ford to help solidify that O-line, hopefully, because that's the talk every year with Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
That should really help him out. To me, I think the only real big loss for them is Jesse Bates in the backfield on defense. But we'll see if they're able to replace that spot. But like you said, on paper, they should just be reload.
Should be.
That's how it. Yeah, I agree. Cincinnati's the team to beat. They have shown no signs that they should not continue to be the team to beat. Is this last year of Joe Burrow's rookie deal?
Should be.
I think so, because they were saying he's going to be the next quarterback to get paid.
Yeah. So this is
because he came in with what's his face from the Chargers.
Herbert.
Yeah, I can't think right now. Sorry.
You can't think of your quarterback's team or your quarterback.
Bro, I'll tell you what. 2 kids fries your brain.
All right. So we don't have Alex's prediction still, aside from Steelers all the way. So we know that Alex feels that way.
Well, I'll just do Alex's, right?
Right.
The Browns Turd Bowl. Steelers number 1. I hate the Ravens, but Cincinnati's good. He'll say some things about how, well, my heart says the Steelers, but Cincinnati's good. So, and then he'll be conflicted, and the the win-loss record will be real close between the Steelers and the Bengals.
That's fair. All right, let's start out with Nate.
I got the Bengals taking the division again this year at 12-5, followed by the Steelers and Ravens, both finishing at 10-7. Tiebreaker TBD. I think they play each other the last week of the season, so I think it comes down to that. And then the Browns finishing up at 6-11.
All right, I have the Bengals winning the division at 11-6, the Steelers at second at 10-7, the Ravens at 9-8 and third, and the Brown Town in last place at 7-10.
I have the identical situation as Nate. Records and everything. Like, I tried to, like, I can't be like Nate, but like I see it the same way as Nate. Records and everything.
All right. I'm surprised that you have the Steelers over the Ravens, Jim.
Yeah, I think, well, they're tied, Muff. So it all comes down to that last game, Muff.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
It's going to come down to that last game to see what their division record is.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim. We still have the Steelers at 10-7. Again, didn't see that coming.
Okay. What do you want me to do?
Well, they shit on the Steelers. That's all I'm saying.
Did I shit on the Steelers at all?
You said they can't develop players
I said
on
I
the
can't
offensive
develop
side.
quarterbacks and receivers, which 3 of their receivers went batshit crazy. So I
3?
think there's evidence there.
3?
Muff.
1 went batshit crazy.
Okay, the rest just are TikTok whores.
Just talking about Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster for anybody who's not aware. The Panthers out of the locker room. All right, boys, it's time. It's time to talk about college football.
College football breakdown.
But before we get into our week 1 breakdown, we need to chat about the new changes in regard to conference realignment. As it was announced this week that Stanford and Cal are going to the ACC along with SMU. SMU's joining with reduced media rights for the first 7 years. It's like a 30%.
I thought it was 9. Are you sure on the 7?
Just read something before we got on here.
Okay, because I saw some across the ticker on Saturday that said 9 years. I was like, no media right. Like, why even go?
Yeah, I saw 30% as the number, but don't hold me to that.
That's stupid to me. Like, I get the Stanford and Cal situation. I think, the Big Ten probably should have absorbed them too, but whatever. But SMU, like, why? Just see what the Big 12 can offer you. No media rights or reduced media rights for 7 years. I get we got to be in a power conference, man, but hold out a little bit.
Which leaves the Pac with 2 teams now.
Pac-2.
Pac 12 minus 10.
Good grief.
And the question now is, where do Oregon State and Washington State end up? And there has already been a report that the Mountain West has made pitches to both of them to absorb. Where do we think they're going to end up?
For their sake of their student-athlete travel, I hope they end up there.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine being a Cal or Stanford student-athlete and being like, all right, guys, this week we're going to go and play at Miami, and then next week we got to fly all the way back to the East Coast and play Boston College.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun.
Ugh. Yeah, it's this whole traveling situation with these teams is just at this point across the board is going to be interesting, and how they play this out and how they make it fair when they schedule.
Could this have been avoided? And hear me out. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole for a second. Could this have been avoided if the NCAA had stepped in and gone, all right, we're going to make new conferences. We're going to divvy this shit up the right way now. Do we think that could have been a thing? I mean, we know it couldn't have been a thing because the NCAA sucks. But
Well, I mean, I don't know if this will be the context, but Michigan quarterback JJ McCarthy wore a shirt pregame that said "Free Harbaugh."
We'll get to that in the Big Ten breakdown.
But I mean, yes, there should have been a little bit more oversight and step in by the NCAA to figure out how to do this in a way that realigned everything for competitive purposes as well as realigned it for geographic purposes as well.
Yeah. Like, I think it just takes an NCAA leader, board, whatever you want, to say, hey, networks, all of you networks, let's have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And let's divvy this up. Because
Yeah.
once it's divvied up, this is how it's going to be. They get paid. That's really the master that we have to satisfy. And the schools are secondary, which I'm going to catch all kinds of shit for. But like how their final schedule fits, which I heard an interview with Ryan Day. He's like, well, when we move the playoffs, if we expand or if we start, we have to think about the kids' final schedule. Do you? And when did that start?
Yeah.
Look, he just cover his ass.
Right.
What do you do for all the other exams? What if they're in a class and they have like 3 exams plus a final or 2 exams plus a final, and that's all they have? Do you care about the other
Don't
2
worry about
exams?
it. Don't worry.
Pay no attention to that athletic thing we're doing.
Oh, they can take that next week, right? After it's already been administered to every other student in the class. They may have access to any of the potential questions.
Or we're just going to bring all of our athletic or our academic team with us.
Yeah.
On this trip.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to take the exam online, which is not an abnormal thing.
No.
To be taking them through those learning management systems.
The exam while
online? Right. Is it monitored? Yeah. That's
right.
How are we doing this? But no, I think I agree that there should have been some, and I think at the end, it's getting the major teams that benefit from these media deals and those networks into the room and saying, hey, dummies, we know that you all benefit from this, very much so, but we need to figure this out, realign, and wipe the slate clean and figure it out from square one again. And none of them are going to say yes to that.
Even if we said, okay, listen, you have NBC and CBS, you now have the rights to the Big Ten. Got it. We promise you're going to have quality games. But we're going to take these teams and make our own divisions now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how it is. Yeah, you'll get the Michigan-Ohio State game that you love.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get the Penn State-Ohio State game. You'll get all the big ones that came with that Big Ten. But, hey, West Virginia, welcome to the Big Ten. Because traveling across this country makes 0 sense.
Right. You don't have to travel a few hundred miles to get your butt whooped this weekend.
It's not fair. He's not even here to defend himself.
Sometimes. Just got to take low-hanging fruit.
I hear you.
All right, let's do it. Let's get into week 1, starting with the Big Ten, who saw Rutgers defeating Northwestern in Sunday football 24-7. This is what we expected.
Northwestern started well. I watched the first half, maybe the first quarter. They started well. They looked like they had some fire to them. But we kind of knew this is what was going to happen. Also, Schiano might have a bigger threat on his hands for his opponents than we anticipate.
We'll see. I'm going to take the wait and see approach on that after a week 1 win against Northwestern.
I'm throwing a maybe out there.
Right. I'm not saying they can't be competitive. I'm just saying I need to see it. Need to see it again.
Yeah.
In Thursday night football, Minnesota beat Nebraska 13-10. Was that Thursday?
Yeah. Friday?
Thursday. Nebraska's Nebraska, Jim.
Pissed me off so bad.
Even under Matt Rule.
Minnesota's not that great. Nebraska has tons of potential.
Damn good quarterback.
They do have a damn good quarterback. You kiss my ass. They do have a damn good quarterback.
Jim was all in the text talking about they had a damn good quarterback, and
that whole first half he played pretty good.
That stat line was not indicative of a damn good quarterback.
Well, you weren't watching. But Nebraska has all kinds of potential. And what my biggest fear is they're going to walk into Colorado on Prime's first game, and that's going to take all the wind out of Nebraska. All of it. Ugh.
Could be. That could be. Michigan State defeats Central Michigan 31-7. Oh hum. They did it. Good
I
job.
watched part of that too. Michigan State didn't look great in the beginning, but it's the first week, so but they definitely made Central Michigan look like they had a chance there for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan State needs this win.
Yeah.
Like they need to build some confidence right now in that program.
Yeah.
Purdue fell to Fresno State in an upset alert, 39-35.
I wouldn't call that an up.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, what was it? 2.5-point line for Purdue?
Yeah, but I thought that was bad anyway.
Still, without a line, I still would have taken Fresno.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maryland defeated Towson 38-6
You couldn't have seen this game anywhere on television.
for good reason.
So I don't know what happened.
Illinois found a way to beat Toledo 30-28.
Ooh, Illinois better get their shit together. Toledo's a good team. I'm not taking it away from them, but Illinois, you got a rough road to hoe. So let's get our head out our asses.
What happened in the last 2 minutes of this game? Because I know Illinois was down, right? Did they drive? How did that field goal come
Yeah, they
up?
drove down. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I put that on late, and that's when the group said, "Oh boy, our Big Ten West winners are really gonna hit the bed here week one." And I can't remember. I think there was either a penalty on fourth down, or they converted a fourth down late and got in field goal range. And then once they got that fourth down, Toledo kind of just like packed it in.
Yeah. Yep.
Number 25, Iowa shoots their load in the first quarter, scoring 14 points, and then holds on for a 24-14 win.
This was a typical Iowa game.
Yeah, I think if Iowa ever gets to a score that's double digits, that's higher than one, that's pretty remarkable for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is the under hit here, right? But I think Alex was sweating this from quarter one when Iowa decided to start scoring points in the first quarter.
I mean, I'm glad they could score as compared to last year, but this was a typical Iowa game.
Number 19, Wisconsin takes down Buffalo 38-17. I did not watch this nor see any highlights, so
Saw some highlights. It looks on the surface like Fickle's gonna honor some of the tradition of the smash mouth, run it down your throat style Wisconsin we would know when we were kids, but also doing some of that air raid.
Yeah,
which he said he wasn't gonna do, but
I think I saw a stat. This is just a stat. They had like 200 or 300 yards rushing.
yeah, I mean he was running it downhill. It was. Whew. But I don't think he's gonna. You could tell he wasn't gonna do that every game. Like he was putting things in place to see the pass game flourish down the road.
Number 2, Michigan takes down East Carolina 30-3.
All right.
Okay.
To line up in the eye at the start of the game, put the number 4 up in salute of your coach. He didn't die. What are you doing? Like, I'm okay with the warm-up shirt say free our coach. But I don't like the eye and the hands up. Now, by me saying I don't like it, I thought it was dumb. But strictly unbiased, at least they had a lot more fighting spirit than Ohio State. They had tons of energy. They play with a chip on their shoulder. That I will give them credit for. So if it takes Harbaugh sitting at home for 3 or 4 weeks, okay.
Didn't watch any of this game. I mean, was it dominant as far as
Yes.
They just rolled them?
Yes.
And last 2 games, we have number 3, Ohio State taking down Indiana 23-3. Jim?
I don't know what was wrong with Ohio State. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 18 yards. Ibuka might have had 10.
Was this like bad play from the quarterback, or they weren't open, or both?
New quarterback. He made some piss poor decisions. The play calling was confusing. Like sometimes I was just like, why? The defense looked great. Very happy with the defense.
There's just gonna be some growing pains. You went what from Justin Fields to CJ Stroud. I mean, I only saw bits and pieces of this game, but I don't feel like that Kyle McCord kid is near the athlete of either one of those two.
No.
So he's not going to be able to really like extend plays, use his feet to gain a couple first downs when they need it. He seems like he's more of a traditional pocket passer from what I saw.
Yes. He has a hell of an arm. There's no question he can get the ball there. But will he make the decisions to get the ball there? I don't know. He didn't seem very bright.
Well, I mean, he had little to no game experience until that game.
He had 3 games. What more do you need?
What where do you need?
Yeah, 3 in what? And scrub
Mop up.
time and mop up
Yeah.
against Eastern Gateway Community College.
Yeah, we're good. I'm very nervous for Notre Dame after that performance. Just flat out blunt.
Well, I mean, if you have your defense to rely on, I mean, they can keep you in the game, but the offense is going to have to do something.
Well,
Right?
hell, the run Henderson couldn't even get the ball like going. The offensive line was just letting him get eat up. They don't have anything. Lots of weapons, can't use them.
I think I saw one play for over 30 yards the entire game. And I think last year they had like 45 ish.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they're not trending well after game one against a team that you should be able to get some chunk plays.
yeah. There's a lot of drama. Kyle McCord's dad. There's rumors that he threatened to transfer him if he didn't start, and there's all kinds of Twitter beef. And then, of course, once Ohio State fans start pouring on the heat on McCord, some tweets started coming out from New Jersey ESPN, which happens to be the hometown of Mr. McCord, where like, look at CJ's stats versus his game one. It was like, if this was like Texas ESPN, I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But that
Yeah, I was
guy,
gonna say, 5 at Columbus because you always have that. What's going on in Columbus? Like, is it a dark day? Are they worried? Or they're like, nah, game one.
it's definitely dark.
For 1-0, darkest day.
Like week 4 is a lot of dread
Where's the game?
at Notre Dame.
Ooh, you get touchdown Jesus times 2.
It's so bad. People are scared. People are scared.
They're scared. And last game, Saturday Night Football. Here comes Saturday night.
Yep.
Number 7 Penn State takes down the Mountaineers of West Virginia 38-15, and they cover spread thanks to a last-minute touchdown by the second teamers, which some people are not happy about. I, for one, am happy because I covered the spread.
How was the quarterback, Muff?
Drew Aller probably has one of the better arms in the nation. Arm talent, he's up there. He was putting the ball in good spots. I think in the passing game, it's going to be more of who is his number 2 target going to be. Number 1 is Lambert Smith, bar none. He's the number 1 guy. After that, they don't necessarily have the tight ends that they're accustomed to across the board. They're used to having 2 or 3 good tight ends. Not sure where that's going to play out throughout the course of the season. Running back stable's good. Offensive line is better. I'm not going to say they're top tier. They're better than they were last year and are going to be better. We'll see how that goes. And defensively, I saw a little bit too many like 5+ yard plays that should have been maybe stopped for 2 or 3 yard gains. So overall, I think it's a good win, right? You beat WVU, you come out, do what you got to do, cover the spread, have a good performance overall. I'm not going to say it was a dominant performance, but I'm happy. I'm satisfied. And then we go on to play Delaware next week, so just whatever.
Yeah. Then the next 2 games don't mean shit, and we won't know about our teams until they're actually tested.
Right. Once you get back into Big Ten action.
That's the Big Ten.
So overall, I'm satisfied. I'm not shouting from the mountaintops, but I'm also not. It's not dark days either.
I think from what I've seen, James Franklin didn't make any piss poor decisions. So
He did say "fuck" on TV, or at least you could read his
well,
lips.
we are going against Neil Brown. It's really not that difficult.
the coaching minds at hand right there.
Hey, I think we found out what we already knew. Neil Brown's the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I was gonna move on. Go ahead.
How about it? Take the other top 10, Jim.
I'm gonna start from the bottom here. Number one defeats Georgia. Number one Georgia defeats UT Martin pretty handily. Slow in the first half or first quarter, first half maybe, but basically puts them away in the end. Alabama defeats Middle Tennessee State. Did they cover? Was the only question I have. I think they might
I
have.
think it was like a low 40-point spread, so I think
It
they
was
did.
50, but I don't know if it was 52, which is what I think it is.
Well, then they
Or was
didn't
it
then.
or was it 59?
It was not a 59-point spread, Jim.
Okay.
You're talking about the over-under, maybe?
Oh yeah.
I think
My
the
fault.
spread was like low 40s. If the spread was low 40s, it was probably low 50s over-under. I'll do some recon as you're chatting.
USC defeats Nevada 66-14. Another slow starting team. And I guess our anticipation for these big dogs is they come out, they shove the ball down the throat, and it's over real quick, like a Mike Tyson fight. Maybe that's not fair.
Especially when it's week one. Maybe next week, now that they got the nerves out, I think we expect them next week to really put it together.
Bama was a 39.5-point favorite and covered, and the over-under was a 52, which went over.
Gotcha. That's what I was thinking of. Florida State is playing currently as we record the number 5 team LSU. And from what I'm watching, LSU's got some momentum.
LSU's up 14-7.
14-7. So there's that. Clemson plays Duke tomorrow night, which would be, if you're listening,
Tonight.
Monday night. Washington defeated Boise State 56-19. Watch this game. Washington looked damn good.
Well, Penix should be able to dominate most games for them this year.
You would think. Number 15, Oregon beat the dog shit out of Portland State 81-7. I think there should have been a slaughter rule. The Duck did have to do 546 push-ups, which I don't think is fair.
It's a duck. Ducks don't do push-ups anyway.
That's ridiculous.
Should have to do like air squats.
Oh my god, it'd still be like he'd be walking like he rode a horse for a week.
Okay, question. How many, if you had to, how many push-ups could you do over the course of 3.5 hours? If you were forced to do as many as possible.
I don't know. I could probably get 300 in.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you could do 10 every 5 to 10 minutes, you can ride that out.
Yeah. And then TCU falls to Deion Sanders, Colorado, and the sound bites from this thing were fantastic. Travis Hunter is a dog.
Yes.
Both sides of the ball. I think he played 106 plays total.
I saw someone that it was over 110 snaps.
Yeah.
And didn't look like at the end of the game that he
I
was.
think a tweet, post, whatever on X, formerly known as Twitter, that I like that had his stats on there. And it's for game one. I don't know how he's going to keep it up, but let me see. Yeah, here we go. So he played over 110 snaps, had 11 receptions for 119 yards. He dropped 2 touchdowns too. Plus he had 3 tackles on defense and an interception.
And that interception was nasty.
Yeah, where he undercut that route.
Yep. Nasty. And then Shador, that's his name, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Broke a school record.
400 plus yards passing.
500 plus.
500.
I think the record was at 400 something.
Yeah, he smashed it. And then Deion sound bites are just quality.
Calling out ESPN, right? Everybody could get it. Everybody could get it.
Everybody loved it. Now, do I think he's going to be able to do the same thing to Nebraska? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think that once he gets Nebraska in the chokehold that he should probably lay up? Yes, I do. Do I think he will? No, I do not. I
The
think
biggest thing there is Colorado, when they have to play defense, can't they play defense?
why?
They're going
Why?
to come up against a team where they can't throw the ball over the field at some point.
Muff, I've given up on that. I've given up on that. In fact, I'm not going to talk shit on Alex anymore because it doesn't matter how many teams are out there that are good, quality teams that can play good defense and explosive offense.
Georgia.
One that you see at the end of the year.
Alabama, but not in the most recent memory.
There's nobody else. So if you're really good at scoring points and like decent, that's the new college football.
Yeah.
I think with Colorado, it's like almost, did you peak too soon? But
Yeah, that letdown, is that what you're talking about?
yeah, like if they were to drop one or two here within the next month or two, it's like, what does that do to that team's morale? Like, you had the high of beating the team that was in the national semifinal or national runner-up, and then now how are you going to respond going forward? Because, like we said, they got Nebraska next week, and then they've got a rivalry game with Colorado State, and then they go to Eugene, and then they host USC.
Yeah, those 2 weeks. If they get through those 2 weeks with wins,
but they've got to go into
out.
They've got to go into that Oregon game 3-0.
Oh yeah, I
They
think they
can't
will.
have a letdown going in before those two.
No, I agree. But then if they get out W's of those, they're undefeated until Utah. And I wouldn't mind seeing Colorado versus Utah. That sounds fun.
Cam Rising will probably be back by then, hopefully.
I hope.
Well, he was taking pregame warm-ups against Florida. I don't know what his deal was. I didn't read into that.
I'm just not going to doubt Dion until.
So you're a believer now?
I'm a believer.
He's all the way.
Because, and I had an epiphany, right? An epiphany that I'm the old man on the porch when it comes to football. I talk shit on James Franklin and Harbaugh, but if you look at their teams, those guys are all amped up. It's exciting. Look at Dion. He's got those kids. 86 brand new souls came to his team, and he just upset somebody who was in the national championship game last year. All based on, sure, they got talent. I get it. But a lot of that is his motivation. Then you look at Ryan Day in Ohio State. Marvin Harrison didn't look like he wanted to be there yesterday. So there's a difference now. The college football kids are no longer like, listen, son, you're going to go out there and you're going to hammer the hole, God damn it. And that's it. They need the hype. They need to start believing in themselves, and we got the right coaches there to do it.
Yeah. Coach, I'll do that. Just give me 60, 70 more K.
Right. The game has changed.
Florida State
They
gets a
score again?
touchdown.
Damn it.
An extra point away from tying it up at 14 with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half.
This is going to be a slugfest.
Going to be a fun one. All right, Jim, what do we got going on next weekend?
Ohio State plays Youngstown State. Penn State's got Delaware. W's got Duquesne. So we should have a good week, I would hope, as a unit. Tulane, number 22 or 24 versus number 22 Ole Miss. Should be an okay game. Hopefully a win for my man Lane. The Texas-Alabama game is going to be fun to watch.
Yes.
Game
Game.
As we've said, the Colorado-Nebraska game.
We got two good matchups next week. Well, three all said and done.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Ole Miss Tulane should be a good one, I hope.
Yeah. I wonder what the Thursday game is. Keep going, Muff.
Here comes Saturday night. I think next week or this week is whenever the crap Big Ten Saturday night games start.
Ugh.
It's like, oh, this is the game we're going to put on here because you just got this media deal. Here's the bottom of the barrel, everybody.
Indiana versus Indiana State is the Friday night game. Illinois versus Kansas is also a Friday night game. The only game of note for Thursday.
One blackout unis.
Do what?
I think I saw Kansas is going blackout unis.
Ooh, I'm gonna watch that. And then Murray State at Louisville is your Friday night or your Thursday night game. So don't we have NFL that night?
Right. That's just show up, people. There's a game, but nobody's gonna be watching it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Muffin.
Other news, I was looking to see what the Saturday night game is, Big Ten this week.
Who cares?
I just want to see if it's a crap game.
It probably is.
Wisconsin, Washington State, 7:30 Saturday. I'm guessing that's it.
On ABC.
NBC.
Is that in Pullman or is that in Madison?
I got it on ABC, Muff, according to the ESPN.
Yeah. Then that's not the Saturday night NBC game then. I don't know. We'll see.
The NBC is Maryland and Charlotte.
Okay. Just great. Even better.
You almost want it to be that Wisconsin.
Right. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You want to if you want this to fly and be good, then why are we doing Maryland Charlotte?
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. Moving on, other news in college football. So this was the first full week where you had the moving clock throughout the game up until 2 minutes in the second and fourth quarter.
I hate it.
Why do you hate it, Jim?
It makes the thing go too fast.
I mean, I agree. The games did seem to go quicker of the games that I did watch. I think this is going to showcase good coaches well.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. That's a fair statement.
So I think we're gonna see some blunders in these first few weeks of teams that didn't manage the clock well. When I was watching the Florida-Utah game on Thursday, it seemed like Florida did not know what they were doing.
They ran double numbered players out there and got a penalty. That's what cost them the game.
Right. So
2 number 3s. Florida's coaching is piss poor.
yeah, and I saw it in that as well. There's bad clock management at the end of the second quarter, I think is what I specifically saw. It just didn't look like they were ready. And they totally forgot that the clock didn't stop before the 2-minute part.
Yeah. Bad execution.
Yeah. Nate, did you see anything of note?
No, I mean, I saw where they said with this whole clock thing, it's like going to take roughly 6 to 8 plays away from the offense throughout the duration of the game on average. But I mean, really, it's not, to me, not big of a deal for the clock because as soon as the ball gets spotted, we're running it back up. So really, because I mean, you get a first down, you get this ball spotted, maybe you save, I don't know, max, I say 10 seconds.
I think the bigger problem is it goes divisionally. Like the Big Ten, and I don't know the scores. I'll look at the scores now, but the Big Ten felt like it was slower than molasses. It felt bad with that clock. Whereas when I was watching the Florida-Utah game and the Colorado-TCU game, the clock didn't feel like it was a factor because they were scoring at will. When
you grind out drives, it's going to be instead of a 5 or 6 minute drive, you're going to get a 7 or 8 minute drive.
And it felt awful. Awful.
I mean,
then if I remember correctly, too, they're only doing this in Division 1 and Division 2. Division 3 still the rule of last year. Why? I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
The Division 3 is its whole other animal anyway.
I think we'll get a better taste of the clock this week, and we'll see what happens. Like after you get the first week jitters out, see if it's really a thing.
And lastly, another college football news, just for Nate. Oklahoma quarterback General Booty now has an underwear line.
Ha! Love it.
Do we know what the name of this underwear line is?
No, I just saw that it was out there. I did not do more research. I saw a quick social media post. I don't
Are you
even know
gonna
what
get some, Nate?
I might have to just because of his name.
birthday present, Sam. Christmas present.
But-
He's not attention.
Just heard.
Just heard. I mean, I just call it the General Booty underwear. Like, I don't know if we need to rebrand this.
Yeah, why? That's silly. That's silly.
Silly. All right. Takes care of week 1 college football. Brings us into the much lighter version of other interesting news in sports this week.
Interesting news in sports.
Starting off in baseball, Major League Baseball announced that they will continue the pitcher batter clock into the postseason, despite pitchers saying that they would like more time. Do we think in the crunch time this is going to be enforced?
And I think I saw in AAA, they think they're expanding it by a couple more seconds. But I mean, this is the first I've heard of pitchers saying that they need more time.
I think it's more hitters than pitchers. I think pitchers like it, right? Because they go. Only for pitchers having a long inning would they probably want more time. But I think pitchers for the most part are like, yes, let me continue to pitch and go.
I mean, even thinking if I was a hitter, it's like I don't want that much dead time. Like I'm already zoned in on what's going on. I don't want all this extra time to sit there and overcomplicate and think things through my head.
I think hitters are used to being able to step out to some degree, and I think that's the mind games, right? They can step out, they can call for time.
Yeah, take a step out of the box, take a deep breath, get back in there, let's go.
Yeah. If you're as a hitter, you have one disengagement per at bat. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And then pitchers, and pitchers have
and you have to be set with like so much time left.
Right. So I mean, I've liked it. Again, we'll see how the postseason plays out and if it becomes an issue or not. Just a general note: the NFL, NBA, and UFC are looking to the government for assistance in presenting tougher legislation against those that illegally stream their content.
You can do what you want. People are going to find a workaround and stream it illegally. They've been doing it for years.
I would love to see this meeting because Dana just has a giant hard on for those illegal streamers. Like he wants them, if he could put hits out on their family, he would. And he calls up Roger and Silver and he's like, I'd like to meet with you. And they're like, well, we don't really know. And then Roger's like, why?
We get more views than anybody.
And all Dana has to say to Roger is, you get more money if we win. And Roger's like, I'm in. And Silver's still like, I don't know. And then both of them just peer pressure the shit out of him to being on the lawsuit. Like they just bully it.
Yeah. Silver's like, well, I mean, does it mean my players are going to get more money? Does James Harden get to go to the strip club more?
Right.
Oh, I forgot. I'm not allowed to talk about James Harden anymore.
No, we're not.
It's like the meeting of these different minds. I mean, UFC has the most to gain overall from this, right? Because they do the pay-per-view. NFL and NBA are networked, which I think it's tougher to find those streams, right?
Yeah, I can't find a Charger stream to save my life. Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure I can. I know a guy who knows a guy, but like then you're putting your shit at risk, and I don't mean legally. I mean like you might get a virus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that link that you click on to get that UFC stream is shady altogether.
Yeah.
But finding those in the NFL and NBA is even more of a risk.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dana wants this, and he's trying to recruit the big dogs to get on board with him.
Absolutely.
It's not a bad play. Not a bad play. And lastly, in the basketball world, the United States loses in the FIBA World Cup to Lithuania in the second round with their Tier B players, because we all know the A1 players are not going to participate in this.
No.
Say, not being a basketball fan, I'm going to have to look at that box score, see if I even recognize anybody.
You will. I looked at the roster. They are recognizable figures, but they're not like the recognizable figures that you would expect to be representing the United States in an international event. I think Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr are on the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked Spoelstra.
You don't like old Spoelstra?
Yeah, this almost, just for the names I do recognize, has the feeling of like how baseball does the futures game. Almost seems like these are like you said, the tier B or C guys that these are going to be the household names here in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are currently like maybe the number one on their team, but they're not superstars in the league. Right, that's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So basketball goes down. They got through one more world in the World Cup than the women's soccer team. Not that makes any difference in this one, but way to go, guys.
In USA, it really only shows up for basketball in the Olympics.
That's true. That's true. Any other sports news that we found throughout the week?
No,
No.
my brain was totally wrapped around. Except, I tell you what, when I talked to Alex about this in the text message, that Mr. Priest from the Daytona wreck that
Mm.
rolled his car 10 times, and then he raced again today and was cleared to race. But when he took his glasses off, looked like his brain tried to leak out his eyes.
What Alex called that? Like the unofficial medical thought is raccoon eyes. That's what they were called.
Yeah. Scary.
Yeah, I saw that too when you guys sent that TikTok, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look like somebody that should be participating in any sporting endeavor at the moment.
And he got out of the hospital the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
The fact that he even walked away from that, it's remarkable to me.
if I looked like that, I would just stay for like just cuz. It's just
Hey, Jimmy, in that hospital bed. No. I gotta stay here at least 1 month.
Do you see my eyes? Do you see my eyes?
Look at these. Look at these.
This is
I
not
am
right.
Okay.
My friends are gonna pick on me so bad. Just let me stay here till my eyes are better.
Just leave me be. Like, I couldn't imagine the doctor going, well, you're good.
Weird.
No, my pain's a 10. Sir, we just gave you a bunch of oxy. Nope, it's still a 10.
Still a 10.
Do you want more? Do you need more pain? No, just I don't want to leave.
Just keep me here. Tell them I'm broken. God bless. Anyway, ready for questions with the boys?
Let's do it.
Okay. Your coach has been suspended and you think it's wrong. What form of protest do you take up?
Allowing the opponent to score.
Do what?
Allowing the opponent to score is my version of protest.
Okay.
I take
Bro,
on
I'm
the exact.
protecting the team from scoring in the end zone while my coach is out.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
Nate,
what kind
that-
of protest really could do? I mean, it is what it is. The game's going to go on with or without your coach. So,
But are you gonna rock a t-shirt?
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to do a T-shirt or something like that, but I mean, I wouldn't go overboard with it. I mean, nothing's going to change.
I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna win the game. The most thing. I mean, if I was in a skill position, maybe I've got something on my gloves, like how you do the put your thumbs together and it makes something. Like maybe there's some type of message there. So if I score a touchdown, I get to go to the camera and do this.
I'm gonna wear something. I'm gonna put some on my shoes. Be flashy, That I think it works. Okay. You're a NASCAR driver.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your sponsor? Like, who is on your car? What is the key sponsor on your car?
I think what makes industry sense for me.
A big bean bag.
That's a good one. Nate's gonna be
That's damn
sponsored.
good.
Nate's gonna be sponsored by the Love Sack.
Mine would be a strip club.
Not surprised.
That would be.
Are we
what
talking
mine
like what are we talking like A level? Or are we talking like C level?
is. So if I'm in the A level of NASCAR, so like I'm in D series,
Okay.
it would be like a famous strip club in Las Vegas. Now, if I'm just in the tier 2, like Xfinity, like the call up, Jill's is going on my car.
I'll say you're gonna replace the grill on your car with stripper poles.
Yes. It's gonna be so awesome.
I'm gonna go with you just inspired me, Nate. Not as you probably expected, but I'm gonna be like pit boss. So I can have like on my grill of my car. I mean, I understand they don't have like legit grills, but
Still cool. I like the idea. All right. And lastly, your teammate is holding out for more money. You have 3 choices. You can resent him because he's not there with you. You can support him. Or you can just pay it no mind and just do your job. Like when the media comes to you, you don't even talk about it. Which one are you going to do?
mine the NFL or in college?
NFL.
I am going to mind my own business and not comment because I am not his agent. my support does nothing aside from potentially put the team in a bad spot. And if I support this player, does this then mean that somebody else that I'm friends with gets cut from the team because they got to give him more money?
That's smart.
Or if you support this player, do you have to support every other player in the
Right.
future?
Mm-hmm. Like I think if like the Chiefs and if Patrick Mahomes says, yeah, we should pay Chris Jones more money, well, then next year one of his wide receivers or Travis Kelce's like, yeah, I want more money too. He's like, God damn you.
Right.
Just this
Right.
one time, guys.
It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, I think I bite my tongue on it, but behind closed doors, I kind of resent the guy in a way because it's like, yeah, I understand you want more money. It's going to eventually come to you, but you can't put yourself above the team.
I'm probably gonna say something
Who?
to the media. I'd probably be that guy. I would be the Travis Kelce, be like, hey man, we need you, come back. I love you and support you. Get that bag, but we need you to come back.
And he's like, Jim, you can take a pay cut, right? I just want 1 million more.
If it at that point, if it meant I'm gonna win the Super Bowl, I might take a pay cut. I'd take a pay cut for you, Muff. Probably Nate too. Not Sam. No pay cut for Sam.
But Alex.
Definitely not.
First off, Alex would have Busch Light as a sponsor in the NASCAR thing.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, what would be your sponsor if you drove a race car?
Cricket.
Michael's.
I was close.
What was it?
Michael's.
Michael's and Bobby and Joanne's. We'd have to have one on the trunk, one on each side.
But
the
what
crap.
if it, like
And cricket.
is that where you want all your free stuff from? Or like is there another one where you could get like who do you want the most free stuff from?
Michael's
Okay.
and cricket.
There you go. But you can cut out your own decals with the cricket.
Yeah, but I could get free machines to cut out the decal.
That's what I mean. So you get them and then you put your own decals on.
Yeah.
So you're set. You can have all kinds of fun stuff on your car. I love it. That's questions for the boys and girl.
Is any other topics of note for this week? No.
Football.
Football happened. Football will be happening. Remember, stay tuned. Get on board with the Thursday betting episode. You'll find out how we all did this week. In the best bets, we'll come up with the formal renaming. I have a thought I'm going to just put out into the world for the lock pick. I would like to put out there that we call it the Lolita Whale pick of the week.
Oh, I like it. I like it. The parlay is going to be Urban Meyer related. That's going to be my vote because I lost a ton of money on sidebar parlays around the Ohio State game.
That's just your silliness.
I know. It was so stupid.
All right. As always, follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsstuffw/Jim Ampersand Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Get the bell on. Make sure you tell all the friends because there's only one way that this continues to go up, up, and away, all the way to another moon on another planet. And that's when you tell a friend, make a friend, be